Hello and welcome back to our YouTube channel Oracle DBA Online Training. Just one update before we proceed with this session. So basically, we have been registered as a private limited company in India, and our company name is Aura DBA Online Training and Support Private Limited. So maybe while following us on any platforms like LinkedIn or probably on Twitter or Facebook, you will come across this page. This is our official page name. Okay. So let me start with today's agenda. What we are going to learn in this class or this session. Basically, today's agenda is like how you can add new network interface into an existing rack interconnects. So if you are familiar with rack configuration, so while doing the rack configuration, you have to decide about the interconnect. Interconnect is a communication channel uh, uh, between the rack nodes. So let's say if you have two node rack and the cache fusion activity happens via the interconnect. Okay, so interconnect is a communication path which is there in the rack configuration. So over the period of time, let's say if your rack setup is having a more utilization of this interconnect, so in that situation, you might have to add new network interface. Okay. So in order to explain this scenario, let me first show you the existing configuration. So I have two node rack configuration, and these are the two VM machines. So if you see here, I have allocated the first network interface for public network. And then the second network interface I have allocated for private network. Similarly, if I go to the second node, same case, first network is used for public interface and the second network is used for the private interface. Now the question will come, how we will add one more private interconnect in this case. So if you are working on VM machines, it is simple that you can add another network interface in this case, and then you can utilize that network interface within your rack configuration. So there are certain steps that we have to follow. But if you are working on any production based system, then you have to probably request your system, or you can say network engineers to add the additional network card first on the server level, and then you as a database administrator have a role that you will be adding that private interconnect into your rack configuration. Okay, so our agenda will be this one only. Before I proceed with this topic, let me share some more detail about our recent programs that we have announced. So if you are already a member on our YouTube channel, please keep watching our videos, and you can always post your queries in any video comment section, or you can also write on our community channels. If you are new to our channel, please do subscribe and share our contents. Coming back to a recent announcement we have made. So recently we have announced like you can take the special offer of 30% offer. Basically, if you are purchasing any content from our website, basically recorded contents or any document specific to our YouTube videos, you can always visit our website. So on the website, you can go to this link, recorded courses and VM, where you can purchase the courses. While doing the purchase, you at the time of checkout, you can use happy learning coupon code, which will provide you the flat 30% of discount. This discount is valid till 30th of November. So I'll request or encourage all the users to take the advantage of this. Apart from this, we have also announced a few of the new batches. The new batch will be coming from starting from the December 15th. So if you are interested, please register yourself, and we will be starting this batch coming 15th of December. There are already batches are going on. If you are interested about learning Oracle DBA programs, you can always reach out to our contact details given in this website. And if you are looking for the website link, you can refer the video description. So let's move ahead with the today's agenda, like how you can how to add the new network interface into an existing rack net configuration. So we are talked about like we have a two node rack setup where we can see we have a network cards, public network generally used to access the server. Private network is for intercommunication between the two node rack. So in order to proceed with this, first of all, we have to make the necessary changes on the network setting here. Okay. So we can see like we have an adapter one, which is for internal network, and then adapter two is for private network, adapter three is for bridge adapter. So simply we'll go and click on adapter four. So this adapter we have to use it for internal network purpose, and we will give the name of this private network one. Okay. So what will happen at this point, we have one more network interface allocated for rack one. Similarly, we have to go and we have to click on this network setting for rack 2 also and allocate the fourth network, which is adapter 4, and enable this network, and you have to click on internal network. Here you have to type private net 1 and then click OK. So you can see like we have both the nodes with one more additional network cards. Okay, so this is like a at server level, we have modified the changes. Now we have to log in into the system. We need to check what exactly this network interface looks like, what is the IP address of this network interface, and then we can proceed with a database, or you can say rack or grid level changes we have to do. So in order to proceed with this, what I'll do, I'll just start the VM machine. So this is our first node. Let me also start the second node. This is our second node, so I'll start second node also. So once the first node is connected, I will log in into this with a root user. Again, you have to put the proper password. So this node is basically a prod one, or you can say a node one of my two node rack setup. So if you have any confusion, you can always type hostname command. So this is prod one's server. Now I have to first go and see what is the network details. Okay. So in order to relate the things, we have to first run command etc host. Okay. So in the etc host command, I can see here like we have private interconnect information, then public interconnect, virtual, and the scan. So if you see like in the private interconnect, we have 192.168.10.1. This is for prod 1, which is my first node. Then we have 10.2, which is second node private interface. Similarly, we have a public interconnect, then we have virtual IPs, then we have scan IP. Okay, so our job is to add one more private interconnect here. Okay, so what we will do, I will first go here. Okay, and if you see, these are my IP addresses which is already allocated. So if you see the ENP0S3, this is my public IP address, which is ending with 71. So if you compare with your etc host entry, I mean, you can see here it is ending with 71, which means public IP address, this one. Similarly, if I go to the second network, it is ending with 10.1 series, which means this is my private interface of the first node. Similarly, this is my server IP. Actually, if you are using a VM based system, you have to also allocate one IP address for bridge adapter, which is generally used for accessing the internet on the virtual box. So this one you can say like is just a IP address just to access the internet, or if you want to access the virtual box, you can use this particular IP address. Now we need to add the last interface that we have added just now. So this particular interface will be starting with ENPS 0, sorry, 0S10. So same thing we have to allocate here also. And also we need to go to the IPv4. So in IPv4, we have to allocate the IP address. So here I'll be allocating the IP address 192.168.111.1. This is going to be my IP address for first node, and you can put the gateway 0.0.0 4 times. Then finally we have to click on apply and just double check whether this IP address is reflected or no. So what I have decided here is that along with 10.1 series, I will be adding IP address ending with 11.1, which is going to be used for my private IP, and that will make my interconnect interface additional interface, basically you can say. So whatever we have decided about to add one more network card, that is something what we are trying to do. First part is to allocate the IP address, and then second part will be to execute the command at system level. Okay, I mean at CRS level. So that is what we will be doing. So first thing is we are allocating the IP address. So this IP address is basically a additional private interface for node 1. So similar changes we have to do on the node 2 also. First thing, you need to log in with root user. So this is my second node. Again, I have to first check cat/etc host. Okay, I will try to go a little bit up here so I can see this is the prod 2 server, means node 2 of my system. And on node 2, I can see private interface detail, public, virtual, scan, all those details are there. So simply go to the network setting, click on the last network setting. Here you have to click on the add option. Okay, so in the add, we need to click on this and then copy all the data from here. Replace the profile name. It should be matched with your MAC address profile naming. So generally, these things are handled by the system admin while you are working on the production system. So here we will be adding the IP address, that is 192.168.11.2. Okay. So here it should be 11.2. Then we have to add 255 3 times, then 0.0.0.0. Okay. Once you add this, just click on save and then restart this network. Make sure the IP address that you have allocated for second node, it is reflecting here. Okay. If it is reflecting, that means we are good. So now the question will come, do we need to modify etc host? The answer is yes. So let's add that IP address here also, because we wanted to use that particular IP address for our purpose. Okay. Even if you don't add the IP address here, that should be fine. Okay. So let's move with the next step that we have to do in this case. So for this purpose, we'll be taking the two different server accesses using the MobiXterm utility. So this is my node 1 and this one is my node 2. Okay. So in this server, we have a 2-node rack setup which is already running with ASM already up and running. So if I go here and execute the command ps-e pipe grep pmon, I can see ASM2 is running on the node 2, ASM1 is running on node 1. Parallelly, I will just connect with the Oracle user and I'll try to start up the database, which is the srvctl start database command to start the product database name prod. Okay. So on this database server, we already have one database running, which which has a name of database prod. So at this point, if you run ps-e pipe grep pmon, sorry, pmon, not pmon. Yeah, so we can see this database instance is running on the first node. Similarly, on the second node, prod2 is running. And if you want to see what is the version, you can always run SQL plus -v. So this database, when I configured it, it is 19.12, and both my grid and database version is same, which is 19.12. Okay. Now the question will come, how we will verify all the other details. So I have the action plan that you can always follow. And if you are a part of our, if you have previously purchased the documents related to our YouTube channel videos, you can freely get this document. If you have not purchased any YouTube related documents, YouTube video related documents, you can always visit our website where you can get all these contents. Okay, so this is the one I'm talking about. If you purchase a document related to our YouTube video, you can always get all the future documents, which includes the this particular document. If you are interested, please do visit our website. I'll provide the link in the description. So coming back to what we are discussing here, what like how to add the new network interface into the existing rack. So basically, we have prepared our system so that we can use it for adding the additional network card. So in this case, we have to first of all, let's say if you are working on any production system, it is our duty to verify what are the things running on the system, and then accordingly you can proceed with the necessary changes. So as a best practice, you can always execute the command ps-e pipegrep pmon, then tns, and then you can also run d.bin. And then if you are working on a standby servers, you can always look for mrp process. Same thing we have to do on the secondary node also. So once it is done, the next point is you can also verify the patch details or patch version. Generally, this is not needed, but if we are working on production, I will recommend to execute the commands. Okay, so let's quickly set this path here, and then we'll try to see what we can do here. So I'll go back on the first node, execute these commands, and then we'll try to run the command which patch. Then we can run also patch version. So we'll try to run few of these commands. So currently our cluster state is normal, which is always important to have, because if you are making any changes with respect to cluster, if your cluster is not currently in the normal state, it will throw some error. Okay. Similarly, before you proceed with the this change, you have to first verify what is the current network interface has been defined for your rack cluster. So if you see this output, I executed from $oracle_home/bin oifcfg. Okay, so basically oifcfg command will help you to identify what are the current network settings have been enabled in your system. Okay, and so get ef basically it represents get the IP address of the interfaces. Okay, so now we can see like we have two different interface cards. One is for ending with 56.0 series, which is for public interface here, and then we have the second IP address which is ending with 10.0, which represents for cluster interconnect as well as ASM. Okay, same command we can execute on node 2 also to see what is the content here. So sorry, before that I need to set the Oracle home path. So both server will show the similar output, which means it is working uh, properly on both the nodes. Now the question is, let's verify the IP list. We have different IP interfaces, and also it has the IP details, like you can say IP segments. So we have 56 series, 10 series, then we have another this particular series, and the one which we have added here, it is this one ending with 11.0 series. Okay, after this you can also execute some of the other commands related to network interfaces, where you can put -p -n. It will show some additional information. So coming to the main agenda, like how you can change the if config, how you can check if config details. So if config -a command will show you the complete IP address details along with its status. Okay. So you can see what are the different interface cards are there, what is the IP address which is allocated for them, and then you can proceed accordingly. So we have, let's say, verified all these details. After that, we'll be moving to the next point. So in the next point, we have to run dsstat command. Okay. So here the network interface names are slightly different, which is first interface of public IP addresses ending with ENP0S8. So we have to put that name here. And the second interface name is ending with 10. Let's try to execute this command also before we move to the next command. So basically this command dstat, basically it shows what is the utilization of that network interface. So from this output, I can clearly see like the interface and ENS ending with S8 is basically representing the current network utilization. This particular interface we have not used so far, which is currently it is showing 0 received and send. Okay. So once we will be configuring the additional network interface, this will also get utilized. So that means you have two network interfaces which will be running parallelly to handle the overall load of the system. So we are talking about the network interface between the two node rack. Okay. So generally we have only one interface. Now we are adding additional one more interface. So the IP addresses which we are trying to use will be 11.1 from node 1, 11.2 from the node 2. So before you make any changes, you have to ensure that you are taking the proper backup of profile.xml file. So now we can see we are currently at the peer profile location, GPNPD profile location, where profile.xml file is present. We have to ensure we'll take the proper backup of this file. So let's do a backup on the second node also. So once the backup is done, then we have to move to the next step, which is the actual addition of the new network interface. So in this case, first we have to ping the IP addresses so that you will be ensured like this IP address is reachable. Okay, so from node 1, I can see the IP address ending with 11.1 is reachable. Even from second node also this is reachable, which means the network IP address 11.1 or 2 both are accessible. So if it is accessible, that means they will be able to do the communication when you add them into the existing network interface. Also, we have to ensure that this particular IP should be in the down state. So what you have to do, simply run the command ifconfig and then give the name of the bond. So in this case, the bond name is ENP0S10. Okay. So this particular bond we have to bring down on both the nodes. Either you use SSH command to perform this operation, or you can simply copy and paste it on the network interface here. On the command prompt. After bringing down this, you can also run netstat command to validate the IP details. So far, so good. So, that network interface is not coming because we have already brought it down. So let me move to the next here on the first node. So we can see currently that network interface is not coming up. After this, we have to proceed with the next command execution. So in the next command execution, I will first show you the syntax. Okay, so the syntax is something like this. So you have to go to the bin location of the grid infrastructure where you will be executing the command oif cfg. Then you have to run set if, and then you have to mention hyphen global so that it will be reflected across all the nodes. Then you have to mention the bond name. So in this case, the bond name is ENP0S10. So probably in your case, it might be slightly different, maybe a bond 2 or a private bond, something like that. Okay, it will be, it really depends on the environment to environment. Then we have to mention the subnet. So subnet is nothing but 192.168.11.0 in this case. Okay, so and then you have to also mention what is the use of this. So generally the private interface is used for cluster interconnect, and also it is used for ASM purpose. So for this purpose we have to execute this entire command as it is from the root user. So let's go on the node 1 and execute this command. Before I execute the command, I will also execute another command where you will get the information related to the this particular output. Okay, so let's execute this one here. So once you execute this command, you will see like we have now two interfaces for cluster interconnect and ASM. So as soon as you run the command set if global and then give the bond name and then uh, subnet details along with cluster interconnect and ASM, you will see that it is now reflecting in the get if output. Okay, so let's go and execute the get if command again on the node 2 also. Since it is a rack level changes, it should reflect on the node 2 also. So here also we can see this network changes is reflecting. Now we need to proceed with next step. So in the next step, we have to, I mean, we have already validated all the points, but still we can just double check. So in the grid home, basically, let me scroll a little bit above. Yeah, so instead of giving the grid home, we can put this particular path because this command is defined for this way. So let's execute this one here. Sorry, I need to check all the commands from here. And then we have to also run if list command. So we can see this IPI is now reflecting here also. Similarly, run on the second node also, it is coming. After this, the next part will be a restart of the cluster. So restart of the cluster, basically you have to stop the cluster with cluster -all option, and then you have to start it back. So I'll go back to the node 1 and execute this command. CRS stop cluster -all. Okay, so it will stop the CRS services on both the nodes. So as soon as CRS is getting restarted, we have to also start the bond interface. So in this case, the bond interface name is ENP0S10. Okay, so we have to start that one. And after starting the network bond interface, which is the additional network interface in this case, so we need to start the CRS service, or the you can say cluster start we have to do. So once this command is getting executed successfully, the next step is to start the network. So I'll just go and run the command ifconfig and then give the bond name and then up command. So after running this, we can again go and execute the command. I think, let me see, it should be netstat command. I have typed it somewhere. Let me copy from here. Okay, so we can see this network interface ending with 11.0 is now coming in this list, which indicates this is available. Okay, similarly, you have to run it on the node 1 as well. After this, basically we need to start the cluster. So to restart the cluster, I think we have to just simply run this command to start up the cluster services. So I'll just go on the first node and execute this command. So it is a CRS util start cluster hyphen all, which will start the CRS services on both the nodes. So basically, if up to this step, if everything looks okay, and if your CRS service is coming up without any issue, that means you have done the changes properly. Okay. We will see the post check also what we need to do whenever this kind of activity you are doing. So now at this point, both the nodes CRS services are up and running. So let's try to run the pmon command on first node and second node, ps-e pipe grep pmon. So on the second node, I think the service is still coming up. We have to just wait and see. And meanwhile, I will just try to execute this get in if command again. So let's log in on the first node and see the command output. So it is coming up. I mean, the output we can see on the node 1. Apart from this, you can also verify the details from the profile level, whether this change has happened on the profile level or no. So we can see at the profile level also, we can check. Let me quickly check this out here. So we have ENS0 here. And what else? What else? We have another network details. Yeah, I think that IP address is not visible here. I think it should be there. Let me verify on the node 2 also. So it is not there on both the nodes. That means I think it is just added in the system. So apart from this, we can also validate this output from ASM level. So I'll just simply log in into the grid and log in into the ASM instance, sys ASM. Here you have to run select star from $v cluster interconnect. So we can see both the interface details are coming here. ENP0S8, okay, which indicates the network interface, first network interconnect interface, and then ENP0S10, which is again presenting with the second private interconnect detail. So forget about the IP address because this is a virtual network which automatically get changed. Okay, so you don't have to worry about this one. The main idea of using the IP is for checking the cluster interface name. Similarly, you can log in into the Oracle database, and there also you can execute the this particular command. So here also we can see both the interfaces are visible, which means the required changes, whatever we have done, it is reflecting in the database level. Apart from this, once it is done, you can also validate the network utilization. I will not execute this command because it is a self-explanatory where you have just logged into the grid infrastructure, checking the patch details, and then checking the health of the CRS. So overall, it looks good to me. So I'll just simply move to the last section where we are checking the status of the network utilization. So I'll just simply go and scroll a little bit down. I will try to run this command here. Okay, so this will show me the network utilization across system. Okay, so currently we are running this command. So if you see the output here, It is for network ENP0S10, and this, once again, where is this output is coming? Oh, sorry, I have just put it everywhere 10, so it should be actually 8 and 10. Okay, so we are looking for 8 interface as well as 10 interface. So both output is coming for send and receive, which means it is indicating why interconnect is getting utilized via both the IP addresses which I have allocated, or you can say both network interface that we have allocated for private intercommunication. Same thing we can execute on node 2 also, just to validate whether the utilization is there or no. So from here also we can see it is now having the interface. So by doing this, what we have done, we have successfully implemented an additional network card into the existing rack setup. Suppose if you have to roll back this thing, so you can simply put the network interface details. So maybe in this case it will be it is ending with this particular ENP network bond detail you have to put, which is ENP0S10 in this case. Okay, so once you execute this command, that network interface will be gone and you have to simply restart the CRS services. So this is the end of the execution of the commands. Okay, so if you want to roll back, then you have to follow the last few steps, otherwise you are done here only. Okay, so I hope you have understood like how to how to add one more additional network interface into the existing rack. So similarly, you can add another in network interface also if required. Let's say you are having a requirement of 2 to 3 network interface, okay, for interconnect, then you can utilize that way. Apart from this, before I wind up this session, I will request all the users, please do subscribe our YouTube channels, and also please do follow our YouTube, our Facebook page, Twitter page, and as well as you can always get the new question. So we have already started the interview question as answer sessions in on our LinkedIn page. So if you are not following our page, probably I'll request everyone to visit our LinkedIn profile, where you can get a lot of data, a lot of details, and learning materials. So please do visit all the social media platforms of our channel, and then you'll get the more rich contents. And also you can always purchase our ready-made courses, and don't forget to take the benefit of additional 30% of the discount. So again, thanks for watching this tutorial. Have a wonderful day, and keep watching, keep learning. And in coming days, we are going to launch some of the new topics related to the Oracle Cloud, as well as we are going to have more learning on this YouTube platform. So please do subscribe, share our videos. Have a wonderful day. Thank you so much.